But when it comes to late game crunch time, people look at, oh, this is not Justin Herbert's fault. He has to overcome the coaching of Brandon Staley. This is Brandon Staley's fault because he's not putting him in the best position to succeed. When you watch that Chiefs game, okay, they had 30 seconds. Okay, they had 2 timeouts. You can't tell me that a really good QB couldn't get them to a field goal.
Play the song with your heart. Play the song with your heart.
Hey, one time. Hey, throw your hands.
What is good, YouTube? This is your boy Aaron.
It's Brian.
And this is the Courtside View podcast. And today,
We're not in the studio today.
yeah, we're not in the studio, but it's all good because we still going to bring the same energy as usual. So you guys are definitely going to enjoy this episode, especially what happened, unfortunately, on Sunday. But we'll get to that in a minute. But before we get to that, I want to talk about basketball real quick. And the Golden State, we haven't discussed this yet, but the Golden State Warriors. What is going on with the Golden State Warriors? Because they've been struggling. Now, recently they've won a few games, so they're like 8-9. But overall, there's a player that not playing up to expectations, and that player is Klay Thompson. How do you feel about Klay Thompson right now, man?
He was a good dude. Now he cooked food. I mean, man, he wasn't even playing that good last season on a playoff run. So I mean, I think he scored like 20 points in the first quarter in the last game. So
He scored 41.
He scored 41 that last game?
Yeah, he did.
I guess a broke clock right twice a day, but I mean, can he keep it up? Doubt it. But but for the Warriors,
go ahead.
This is like the same story as last year. Last year they started off pretty bleh, and then after the All-Star break or towards they started to turn up. People counted them out early because how they look now. So I mean, it's the first, not even half. It's the first quarter of the season. So I'm not even gonna put too much stock in what's happening right now. See the Lakers getting their footing, letting the AD run the show, and they won what 3, 4 in a row.
Yeah, 3 in a row right now.
Yeah, so
play Phoenix tonight, so it's gonna be interesting.
Yeah, you just don't know with the NBA. It's too early in the season for anything at this point. So I'm just see how things play out. The Warriors aren't living up to what they did last season for sure, especially the young guys. Jordan Poole. Did Draymond knock the talent out, dude? Like, I'm confused. And Kuminga's not developing how he should be. They had to send Wiseman back in the G League because he's soft. So it's Steph or bust right now.
Yeah, Moody, he hasn't been producing as well. It's just a lot of guys that need to step up. I forgot this. I forgot that Jonathan Kuminga was the 7th pick in the 2021 draft. I thought he was a late first-round pick. I was like, you know what? I understand he's not living up. He's a late first round, but the 7th pick, that's crazy. That's them draft picks looking kind of sketchy right now for the Warriors. Maybe they should have traded for another star or something because Wiseman and Kuminga, boy, they looking real bad right now.
They're not hooping.
I don't know what it is because, the Warriors in the past, they've been known to develop players with Draymond, with Klay, with Steph, with Looney. Now, I don't know. Are these guys feeling themselves because they with the Warriors, so they don't feel like they could put the work in?
I don't know. That's a good point. I don't know.
Because I remember Stephen A. Smith. I know Stephen A. Smith, but he reported that there was like questions about Jonathan Kuminga's sort of work ethic, I believe it was, his commitment. I sort of brushed it off. I was like, all right, whatever. But you see it now, maybe that wasn't wrong. Maybe he was actually right. So, yeah, James Wiseman, wow. I tried to tell people you got to draft LaMelo. I don't care that they need a center. Go best player available because you can with LaMelo, you see with Klay Thompson, right? He's coming back from injury. I'm like, well, if you draft LaMelo, you can have him for the future, and then you can use Klay Thompson as a trade piece later on. But they
And if
wanted
they
to
drafted
go
LaMelo, they could have used Steph more off ball, and that could have
exactly,
increased his career length too. So,
and they could have just traded Klay. They could have used him as a trade piece to get another great
and
player.
also, yeah, they continue to develop Poole or something. And they could have did that. They could have traded Poole too, since he was up for
Yeah,
money.
but they fumbled, and then they drafted Kuminga. I forgot. I think it was Halliburton in the 2021 draft, or was that with 2020? I forget, but
Halliburton, he was 2020, I believe.
yeah, 2021. That was the Jalen Green, Cade
Yeah,
Cunningham. Was it Scotty Barnes, Evan Mobley? I forgot who else was in that draft, but was Josh Giddey in that draft? I can't
yes.
remember. Oh, he was in that draft as well. So yeah, they they fumbled. They really fumbled. That's why they're in this predicament now because but let's go to the NFL. I just want to talk about it real quick because we haven't really discussed them that much. But let's go to the NFL and we might as well start off with the game. The Vikings and the Cowboys. I'll give you the floor. How did you feel?
I felt elated. That was the performance I was looking for going into the week. I said on the podcast last week, I said, can the Cowboys stand up and prove that they aren't frauds this week? And you know what they came out and did? Put up 40 points against an 8-1 Vikings team that just went to Buffalo last week and got a tough W. And this is how they put, man. Listen, that game against the Packers was fluke. That was a fluke loss. That should be stricken from the record after this performance. You kidding me? Let me tell you something. Michael Parsons, he's special. He's special. Man had 9 pressures, 2 sacks. The whole defense went crazy. And I ain't gonna get into the obvious thing about the defense just yet. But did you see my QB? 88% completion. Are you kidding me? What do you do? 2 touchdowns? 3 touchdowns? Oh my God. Yo, Tony Pollard. We're gonna have to have some discussions about Tony Pollard here in a second because this man just continues to impress and improve and perform. Like honestly, I need Tony Pollard to be featured 20-20. 20-20, give me Tony Pollard. When we in the red zone or goal line or something, just put Zeke in the game. Zeke needs to be in that Jerome Bettis type role. Where you know how when he won the Super Bowl, pretty much they used him if they need a short yardage or a goal line. That's how Zeke need to be used for right now. Because Tony Pollard, this dude, and I said before, if they use Tony Pollard like how they use like how Alvin Kamara, Christian McCaffrey, make them catch pass out the backfield, this offense would be unstoppable. And as you see, we was clicking. We was not committing mental errors. You know, players were in the right spots. CD making great catches on that catch on the sideline was insane. But yeah, it was just a domination. It got so bad they actually changed the coverage in the third quarter. I said, dang. I thought the people in the restaurant changed the TV. I was like, what's going on? But no, nah, they changed the coverage. So that's what I was looking for. That answered a lot of questions about this team and what we're capable of and how resilient we are as a team. Also, Justin Jefferson had 3 catches for 33 yards. And Trayvon Diggs was following him. So, hey, listen, I don't want to hear no more pushback about this CB1 debate. It's Trayvon Diggs, Darius Slay, and who cares after that? Second half. Oh, Pastor Tan got cooked. Oh my goodness, we're gonna get into that later though.
Are you finished?
One last point. You see my kicker? Listen, I apologize to Brett Maher for any past comments a few years ago I made. This dude is on all pro trajectory, man. He made 3 50-yard field goals that game in a 60-yarder. He's nice. Now you may have the floor.
It's funny. You're a fake fan. You know that? Because last week you picked the Vikings to win, and I tried to tell you that the Cowboys own Kirk Cousins. Why do you keep doing this to yourself? Betting against your team when they're going up against Kirk Cousins. This isn't a 1 o'clock game. This was a 4 o'clock game. So what are you doing? I just had to get that out the way real fast because I wanted to show just how fake of a fan you are that you're gonna just gloat now when you pick the other team to win.
Hold on now. I did say that I would not be surprised, and I have a feeling we was going to win. Did
Here
I
we
not
go.
say that?
Man, here we go with these caveats. Come on now. I don't want to hear all of that.
I picked the Vikings to jinx them.
You're a worse liar than LeBron because jinxing a Kirk Cousins led team, really? When you guys
I
own
mean,
it.
they
That's
were
such a
eight.
lie.
They were 8-1. Like, let's be real. They were 8-1.
This is Kirk Cousins. Kirk
Who just beat
Cousins
Josh Allen in Buffalo.
off of a fluky play. He fumbled in the end zone. Like, you're not gonna see that anytime soon. That is such a fluky play. Let's be for real here. Let's be for real. Like, there was a lot of luck involved in that game. Kirk Cousins almost lost the game. But Josh Allen, he had to turn back to his rookie year, his second year, looking trash. So we're not going to see that again. But I do want to let me discuss one thing because obviously this game was not on the reason the Vikings lost wasn't mainly because of Kirk Cousins. There was a lot of you guys played an excellent game. Like the offensive line for the Vikings just couldn't protect Kirk Cousins. The defense for the Vikings was atrocious as well. So it was just an overall just trash showing by the Vikings. And the reason why I am not a believer of Kirk Cousins, he's a statue in the pocket. Like, I was just laughing whenever Micah Parsons beat the offensive lineman and he just was chasing Kirk Cousins because Kirk Cousins can't run. This dude he might be as slow as Tom Brady. I'm just looking at the way he's running and I'm just like, are you serious? Like, are we being for real? I'm not a believer in Kirk Cousins. There's a reason why he was a 4th round pick. He's just not. He can make some really good throws. He's a middle of the pack quarterback at the end of the day, and he's not talented enough to overcome the deficiencies of his team, and it showed. It showed Sunday because offensive line wasn't playing well. If Kirk Cousins, if he had, I don't know, 4.7 speed for crying out, maybe he can escape some of those sacks. Maybe he can evade some of those the pass rushes, right? He can't. He's too slow. So at the end of the day, I got to give credit where it's due. The Cowboys, they played a great game. They were pissed off by last week's game against the Packers because you're supposed to win that game. Seriously, you can't lose to a team like the Packers. But it's unfortunate. The only bright side from my part is that it helped my fantasy team. I won because of the Cowboys defense. So thank you very much, Michael Parsons. I appreciate it. Trayvon Diggs, he locked down Justin Jefferson. I wasn't really surprised by that because it's just what he did last year. And the fact that one thing I realized is that when Justin Jefferson isn't getting going, the Vikings offense overall doesn't function that well.
Ding, ding,
So
ding.
so if you take Justin Jefferson out of the equation, then most of the time the Vikings are going to look very suspect, and
And
that's what happened.
and that's what Dan Quinn did. He saw if you look at the film, the first read was always Justin Jefferson. So you
Yeah,
take away, you say, okay, this is the first time all season, I believe, Diggs traveled the whole game with the number 1 wide receiver. So he said, listen, we're going to make you have to wait just a second more before you could throw that ball to Justin Jefferson. And by then you did as fried chicken. And the thing the
yeah,
Cowboys did, this is the recipe for winning football. We go and score early and get up early. So don't even give them a chance to run the football. They just had to keep throwing. They just kept digging themselves deeper and deeper and deeper. That's how you win football games. And the funny thing is, people were saying this the defense. this is the defense's team. Like the team goes where the defense goes. But it seems like to me the team still goes where the offense goes. Because you can't run the ball if you score points.
Yeah, it's a good point.
I'm saying if we can do this 10 more times,
I'll say this. I don't think you guys are gonna have a better game than that. That was just a perfect game. But yeah, good game for you guys. I can't really say much. All I can say is that it's gonna be interesting. That game against Philly, it's gonna be real interesting. And just
we're gonna talk about them later.
Okay, and then we're gonna see the whole Odell sweepstakes. That's gonna be interesting as well. Because the Giants they lost one of their now their best receiver, Wendell Robinson, I believe his name is.
And they lost Adoree.
Yeah, so they're pretty much beat up and stuff. So they definitely need Odell. They might need to throw the bag to Odell if they want him to come back, because it's looking really bad for them right now. Daniel Jones, he didn't play particularly well. Well, you might as well just transition to that game. The Lions versus the Giants game, and Daniel Jones, he threw 2 picks. They were down pretty badly against the Lions. And the Lions, they've been pretty bad this year. They just had their way.
Offensively, they one of the best teams offensively, but defense.
Yeah. And they were holding the Giants offense.
He threw a pick.
They weren't scoring.
Hutchinson.
Yeah.
Aiden Hutchinson, yeah. He is 6'7" though. I did not know that.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. He's really tall. Like, dude's that's why he went number 2 for a reason.
And I say the Jags was gonna regret going with Trayvon Walker. Where Trayvon Walker been at? Aiden Hutchinson everywhere. He on all the highlights. Trayvon Walker.
Yeah, he's been quiet. And Aiden Hutchinson, he had the rookie wall in the middle of the season, but now it's looking like he's sort of figuring it out, and he's been just phenomenal for the Detroit Lions. So yeah, and Jamal Williams. Oh my God, Packers had to get rid of him. God damn, could have used Jamal Williams.
Oh, y'all had him?
Yeah, we had Jamal. He was drafted by the Packers, but we let him go because he wanted a new contract. And we had to decide, okay, are we going to pay Aaron Jones, Jamal Williams? And then we drafted A.J. Dillon as well, who was supposed to fill that role, and he's been very inconsistent. Jamal Williams. It's crazy because they have DeAndre Swift, but it's looking like Jamal Williams is RB1. DeAndre Swift is RB2 right now. 3 touchdowns is just crazy. Yeah, just enough said.
I think it's the same situation I bought it. They use Swift 20 to 20, let Jamal clean up.
Yeah, but it's just Jamal Williams. He's just been phenomenal so far. The Giants, I don't know. Do you think the Giants?
I think the decline is coming.
Yeah, I was about to say that. It's looking like if they don't win this Thanksgiving game, because it's
gonna be tough.
They have injuries. They have injuries, and then you play a healthy Commanders team that's winning
Chase
games.
Young coming back. Oh man.
Yeah, Xavier McKinney is out. A couple other players. The wide receiver core is most of the starters are out and stuff. All they have is Darius Slayton. Like it's bad. They traded Kadarius Toney. Yeah, it's not looking too good in New York.
Dable can coach. He can coach his butt off, but the injury's undefeated.
They need to change that turf for real, and I understand why. They actually are going to change the turf, but it's going to take like a year or two, which is that's unfortunate. But yeah, let's go to the next. Matter of fact, let's go to Monday night real quick, because the Cardinals are a mess. And unfortunately for you, they messed up your parlay. What happened, man? What happened to the parlay?
D-Hop had 1 billion yards but couldn't get a touchdown. And CMC didn't get a touchdown either, which is interesting, even though he had like a bunch of yards too. So it was just chalk.
Did you know that Colt McCoy was going to start before you made that bet?
Yeah.
That parlay? Oh, you did. So
I thought it was going to be one of them. I thought he was going to do one of them forget a D-Hop down there somewhere type throws, and it just would have worked out.
Nah, bro. Nah, you you played yourself on that one because listen, Colt McCoy, he's a solid backup, but when you're playing the 49ers who are getting healthy, that's a bet I'm not trying to make. I
I'm
don't care
telling
in
you,
this
man,
division game.
the 49ers, that's the one team that scares me. I do not want to play them in the first round at all.
Let's get a
Like
first round matchup.
I'd rather play Brady than play the 49ers, because at least like if Brady team around him stinks, then we might get one from him. But the 49ers, they literally are a hard counter to everything we do.
Let's get a rematch. I want a rematch from last year.
Please no. And it's
49ers
gonna be in
versus
San Francisco.
Cowboys.
Please no.
Yes, let's do it. Come on, NFL. The agenda, let's let it thrive, please. But yeah, Jimmy Garoppolo had 4 touchdowns. That's how you know your defense is bad.
It was like they missed like 80 tackles.
They're making business decisions. People are going to get fired. There's going to be some
Cliff Kingsbury, he
players
out there.
getting cut. I don't know. We'll have to see.
He needs to go. He needs to go. Like I said, it looks like he's pretending to be a coach instead of actually being a coach. Like his demeanor, it just like it doesn't look like he has any sense of urgency. Like he just looked like he's like trying to be as cool as possible. And like, bro, you invoke no inspiration or fire in your team. Your players is doing the coaching.
That's a good point, especially when I saw that they showed that Hard Knocks video, that clip, whoever, where he's trying to inspire the guys on the sideline, and guys was just like, okay, whatever. They didn't look like they were really caring that much. So yeah, it's bad for the Cardinals. The 49ers, they look like
they contenders.
They're the scariest team right now in the NFC.
NFL? Oh, okay.
Nah, in the NFC. Nah, in the NFL, the scariest team
Chiefs?
has to be the Chiefs, and then probably the 49ers. And
didn't I predict before the season? I said Chiefs and 49ers is a possibility. You was like, oh, the 49ers no. And I
they
was
had
like, okay.
Trey Lance. Like, you want me to believe in Trey Lance? Seriously. Now, Jimmy Garoppolo, he's been there before. They made the Super Bowl. They just went to the conference championship game. Okay, then. If they had Jimmy Garoppolo, I would agree with you. If they had Trey Lance, I'm like, nah, bro. I don't. Especially the preseason games, I was like, nah, bro. I'm not a believer. Okay, so let's go to the next games, and we can go to.
Let's talk about them sorry Packers while we.
It was Thursday night. Listen, man. It's old. Like I said, I already told you it's over, right? I said this last week. I wore the jersey because we beat the Packers, and I understood that this is probably the last time I'm going to wear the jersey. So yeah, I picked them to win, and the Packers went back to their old ways. They didn't run the ball enough. Aaron Rodgers, he missed some throws that he should make. He's been off this year, and it's crazy because if you look at his stats, he's like top 6 in passing yards, top 5 in passing touchdowns, but he doesn't look the same. He's been pretty awful. That's why you got to watch the games. Stop looking at stats to verify if a player is good or not. Watch the games, people, because if you don't, you're going to believe something. Like, people thought, if you look at Jalen Hurts' stats from last year, especially in fantasy, you would think, oh my God, Jalen Hurts, he was really good. No, he was not. He was not. He was not really good. He was okay. He was still improving as a thrower. So yeah, look at the stats. Anywho, back to the game itself. The Tennessee Titans, they just controlled us from the line of scrimmage the entire game. Treylon Burks was cooking Jair Alexander. Like, I'm like, all right, I'm done. Joe Barry, please, he needs to go. Like, he's just you could tell on the players on the defensive side, they don't want to play for this man. Seriously, like, they're tired of him. The Packers are the worst organization when it comes to hiring defensive coordinators, and I pray that they please get some. Brian Flores, please come to the Packers. Be the defensive coordinator. I'm telling you. You're going to get all the recognition. We have the pieces in play. We just need a coach that can get the best out of them. And I'm telling you, Brian Flores, he has that mystique. He has, I don't know, he has that it factor when it comes to being a defensive coordinator. We need somebody like that can come in the building and hold these defensive players accountable because Joe Barry is not it. For crying out loud, he was part of the team that went 0-16. Like, what are we doing? Like, why does he still have a job? That's crazy to me. That really is. But yeah, the Titans, are they a contender, in your opinion?
No, I think they're too limited on the offensive side of the football. What was the score of the game? It was like what was like he only scored what 17 or
I
something like that.
I think it was a 10. I think it might have been a 10-point game. I forgot what it was. Let me check right now. But it wasn't. Let's see. Oh, 27-17.
Okay, okay, he scored 27. Oh, see, the Titans always do this though. That's the thing. They all regular season, they always look good. Like, but then they come playoff time and Tannehill does Tannehill things.
Yeah.
I think their defense last year against the Bengals, well, last season against the Bengals in the playoffs, I think their defense had like 3 turnovers or something, and they still lost. So can I count on Ryan Tannehill come January? I don't think so.
Nah, you can't. It comes down to Derrick Henry, their running game, really. If they can dominate from the running game, then they have a shot. But if it comes down to Ryan Tannehill having to make some throws, then you're cooked. That's just how it goes for the Titans. They're very one-dimensional. But it works. They win games in the regular season. Christian Watson. Last week he put on a absolute show against the Dallas Cowboys. He was looking like Randy Moss out there, just 3 receptions, 3 touchdowns. I'm like, what is going on? And then this week, and then Thursday night, he has 2 touchdowns. I'm like, yo, what? Like he has more touchdowns than I believe CD. I think CD has like 4, and this guy has 5 touchdowns over a 2-week span. He has more touchdowns than
Not even
Tyreek
2 week, a
Hill.
7-day span.
He has more touchdowns than Tyreek Hill. Like, I think he's tied with Stephon Diggs too, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, this is and Justin Jefferson. Insane. He's looking very promising. Hopefully he can continue this success. That's the only thing I can really look forward to besides that, because everything else is bad. Yeah, let's go to the next game because I don't want to go.
Let's talk about since you just brought up a rookie wide receiver, let's talk about this game real quickly. The Saints versus the Rams. Now, I think I picked the Saints.
I picked the Saints too.
Because I think Matt Stafford wasn't playing, so I said I'm gonna pick the Saints. Chris Olave. He's the best rookie wide receiver right now. Like the dude is top 10 in yards right now, I believe, with Andy Dalton throwing him the rock and Jameis Winston. And Jameis Winston, he missed some passes when he probably missed 2 touchdowns and 150 yards worth of receiving stats messing with Jameis Winston. This dude right here, he's nice. He's nice.
Dude, yeah, he really is. He cooked Jalen Ramsey on that one play.
Yeah, that 4.2 speed will get you.
Yeah, he in the combat, I believe he ran like a 4.4, but his game speed is on a different level. It's like, damn, this guy is like he's one of the fastest guys in the league, and he runs like I don't know, like a mid 4.40. So yeah,
I thought he ran like a 4.3 or something like that.
I don't know.
These new wide receivers is fast.
I remember there was like an unofficial time. There's like an unofficial time, right? And then they sort of corrected and he ran like a 4.40 or something. So yeah, he's explosive. He really is. And his route running is already his route running is already up there. Hey, Michael Thomas, bye. Bye. You got your replacement. We don't need you anymore.
Ski mask Hall of Fame.
Yeah, we're gonna one day we're gonna have an award. We're gonna be giving out first team all ski mask, and he's definitely gonna be on there because right now he hasn't been playing that much. He's been injured for the most part. But yeah, the Saints. It's not really much to say besides Chris Olave is spectacular. James
Please keep
Winston.
winning games and mess up that Eagles pick, please.
I agree. I agree with that one because I do not want the Eagles to have a top 5 pick. That
Bro,
would
bro,
be
but let's think about this for a second. The Rams are currently top 5 in the draft. It is very much a possibility the Lions could end up with Bryce Young and Will Anderson if the Lions start losing more games. Very much possible.
that would be crazy. Bryce Young is. I'm a believer in Bryce Young. I'm not a believer in CJ Stroud. I've seen CJ Stroud play, and I don't see special. I see Bryce Young play, and I'm like, okay, he gets it. He has the IQ. I've seen him like under pressure in games, whatever, and he's delivered every
Does
time.
he remind you a little bit of Russ?
He does. I see a little bit of Russ in him. I'm trying to think of somebody else that he reminds me of, but it just it looks like the game has slowed down for him. Like when it comes to CJ Stroud, sometimes I'm like, what are you doing? Like against Maryland, like there was some plays I'm like, what are you doing? He doesn't look comfortable enough. And I think one of the reasons why he's really thriving is because of the pieces around him. Like, dude, he has like the best wide receiver in the country. And then he has another wide receiver that's going to go in the first round. He has so many pieces available. And I think that's one of the reasons why he's really thriving. Now, I could be wrong. He might be successful depending on the team that he's drafted on. I'm just a Bryce Young guy. And if a team drafts CJ Stroud first over Bryce Young, you're making a mistake because Bryce Young is just you watch the tape seriously because
I don't think you can go wrong with either pick, to be honest.
At the end of the day, it comes down where they drafted. I'll say that, but I just like Bryce Young's poise in the pocket. It seems like the game is slowed down for him. But let's go to the next game.
Hold on. Before we leave, Jalen Ramsey, you got absolutely smoked Sunday. That was embarrassing. Like, dude, I think PFF posted the stuff. He gave up like 5 catches on 6 targets for 80-something yards and 2 TDs. I can't put this dude in my top 5 for the rest of the season at this rate. You kidding me? Like, good grief.
Might have to add him to one of our lists. And you know that list I'm talking about right now. It's not looking too good.
He has not been having a great year. But people still want to hold on to the belief that he's elite. He hasn't been playing like it.
Yeah, it's looking bad right now.
Yeah, forget about them. Sorry, CBs. Let's talk about a team that had another team that had an underwhelming performance. The Philadelphia Eagles.
Oh man,
having to go on a 2-minute drive to beat the Colts with a new head coach. And then you saw Nick Sirianni after the game standing up on a bench yelling at the crowd, like acting like Pat Bev after he won in the play-in. This team, man, I can't. Like, I can't wait for that team's demise. I swear they not that nice. Oh my goodness.
Okay, we'll see. We'll see what happens in Christmas Eve because that's when the game's going to happen and everybody's going to be watching. So we'll see. We
in Dallas this time. They gotta come. They gotta come to Dallas.
Dallas has a home field advantage
against the Eagles. Yeah.
Okay. This is not Carson Wentz we're talking about.
What happened last year?
The Eagles weren't good. Like what are we talking about? The Eagles were not good last year.
So based on recent performances, who would win if they played this week?
Let's see. Based off recent performances, got to go with Cowboys, but I don't believe the Eagles gonna lose. So that's just me. But we'll get there later down the road. But so I want to talk about the Patriots and the Jets game. One of the worst games this year, honestly. And Zach Wilson,
He's terrible.
you know, there was somebody that tried to say that Zach Wilson is better than Justin Fields. Zach Wilson is, at one point, he said, better than Trevor Lawrence. I'm not going to put his name out there because I don't want him to I don't want to embarrass him.
I know who you're talking about.
But I tried to tell people, give Justin Fields the right coaching, the right personnel. He's going to thrive. But this is not a Justin Fields segment. This is about the Jets versus the Patriots. And Zach Wilson, there's an argument to be made that he's the worst starting quarterback in the NFL. He has, I think, 4 touchdowns. He's thrown 4 touchdowns this year. Joe Flacco has thrown more touchdowns than Zach Wilson this year. And he's only played like 4 games. That just lets you know how bad Zach Wilson has been this year. And it showed itself last Sunday. And I picked the Jets to win because I thought that they found a formula that would work. But then I did not realize this stat, and that the New York Jets have not beaten the New England Patriots since Brett Favre was the quarterback. And I'm talking about in New England. And this is regular season. I did not know that. If I knew that, I wouldn't have picked the Jets. I was under the assumption that Zach Wilson figured it out. He was going to not make many mistakes. He was going to manage the game, let the run game do most of the heavy loading. 3 points, barely over 100 yards offense. And then after the game, when they asked you a question about, what was it?
Did you feel like you let
the defense down? You said no. The audacity.
And not only did he say no, he answered quick.
The audacity. The arrogance to just think that you are above all of these other players, that you don't deserve any accountability. Disgusting. And I wouldn't be surprised if he lost the locker room at that. None of the players respect him.
Did you see what the defensive players was liking?
Yeah, Sauce Gardner, even though he said, I accidentally liked it, so you guys are making a big deal out of it. Come on, Sauce.
Cap.
Let's be Cap. Exactly, Cap. Come on, Sauce. The way you be talking, the way you be spitting. Listen,
even Elijah Moore posted a picture of him throwing the football. Jack Wilson, and then Robert Saleh came out and said he not committed to do for the rest of the year.
Exactly. He got it. At the end of the day, this is the NFL. And your spot can be taken. You're not promised a starting position. If you play awful, you can get taken out. As great as Patrick Mahomes is, if he played as bad as Zach Wilson, he'll possibly get taken out. So I like what Robert Saleh is doing. He is putting Zach Wilson on notice that, if you don't play better, you're on the bench. We're going to put Joe Flacco in. He won a game or 2 for us. He played pretty solid. Let's try Joe Flacco. 3 point that's just atrocious. That really is. And the Patriots, they got lucky in the end with that punt return, but at least Mac Jones, he threw for like 200 yards, whatever. So, but Zach Wilson, he had like 99 yards, I believe it was. He was like 9 for 22. Not going to be able to do it.
They had more punts than he had completions.
It's the Jets defense. That is a Super Bowl caliber defense. And the fact that they continuously have to overcome the deficiencies of their quarterback is unfortunate. Because I like Sauce Gardner. I like Quentin Williams. Those guys they're dogs. They're going to be possibly all pro this year. They're going to make the Pro Bowl for sure. if Zach Wilson was, I don't know, if Zach Wilson was Andy Dalton, think about that. They would they would definitely beat the New England Patriots. They would definitely be in prime position for the number one, for being number one in their division. No, he can't even be that. I was looking at stat comparisons. It was Zach Wilson and it was Johnny Manziel. Identical. It's just bad, man.
Here's the
It's
thing.
just
I
bad.
don't understand where the Zach Wilson hype even came from. No, I literally did heard nothing about dude up until that the pre-draft workout where he made that throw on a run and everybody was like, oh, and then all of a sudden they drafted him, they put him as QB2. I'm like, what?
You know what it was? It's because a lot of these guys like, oh my God, he's Mahomes like, he's Aaron Rodgers like. So maybe if we get them in our organization, we can mold him into that type of player.
Heck
But
no.
but he
Did
played
they
in
not see the
BYU.
film against Coastal Carolina? He looked terrible.
He played in BYU, one of the best offensive lines in college. He was making all these just ill-advised plays, spectacular throw plays, right? Off script. But when it comes down to playing quarterback, you're not going to get a lot of those. You have to go through your progressions. You have to look at your first, your second, your third read. They were raving up Zach Wilson, but then when it comes to Justin Fields, oh, he stares down his receiver too much. He can't throw the ball in the pocket as well. They say all these bad things about Justin Fields, but when it comes to Zach Wilson, oh my God, he's Mahomes like. He can make those off script throws. Those are the things that you need. See what I mean? Comes to black quarterbacks compared to white quarterback. Man, we can go all day with that discussion. I don't even want to get to that. But yeah, the Patriots, they got to give credit to where it's due with Bill Belichick. It's why he's the greatest coach of all time. Even out Tom Brady, he's making it work however way, and yeah, they're succeeding. The offense was terrible, but they were able to do. Special team showed up, and the defense showed up. Can't really say much more. Um, let's go to let's see
Let's talk
Ravens.
about
Oh my, let's go to the Ravens real quick. Ravens versus Panthers because Lamar.
Lamar.
You know, I'm gonna let you speak on this because you're a big Lamar guy.
Lamar. Do you want this money or not? You was in a dog fight. I mean, a dog fight with Baker Mayfield and the Carolina Panthers. Like, what are we doing here? Like, come on, man. Like, it's man. The Ravens, they are so disappointed. Like, like he started the year off so hot. It's like after week 3, it just like I don't. And it's like he's not even trying to run anymore. Like I don't know. He's just disappointing. He was my sleeper MVP pick, but he's nowhere near MVP at this rate. Like, good grief. Does he I don't man, and he needs to tighten up because the Ravens gonna look at these performances like, does this look like 200 mil worth of production? I mean, that MVP was 3 years ago. So I don't think this is 200 mil guaranteed worth of production. So yeah, they need to figure it out.
Listen, he's obviously he's valuable for the team. Without Lamar Jackson, the Ravens they're gonna be in the race for the number one pick in my opinion. I'll say this: the offense, yes, Lamar Jackson, he doesn't have really anybody that he can work with. For crying out loud, he has like Rashad Bateman's not there; he's injured. I think Mark Andrews, he was playing, but he's coming off an injury, I believe it was. His best receivers like Devin Duvernay. Honestly, the Ravens should be trying to be in the sweepstakes for Odell too,
He ain't going
because
over there.
yeah, I know because it's like a run first offense, but still, you have to try at least try to give Lamar Jackson some type of weapons. But at the end of the day, is Greg Roman the offense coordinator? Greg Roman. Can you?
I want to say he still is, but I'm not 100% sure.
I
Just need
think
to look that
if
up.
it is Greg Roman, bruh, you got to switch things up. You got to do something because this is what I've been hearing about Ravens fans is that he he doesn't make no type of adjustments. Like it's the same things over and over again. There's no it's nothing methodical about the offense at all.
Yeah, it's Greg Roman.
Again, the Ravens, they need to do something about this offense because you're not going to win in the playoffs. Like they're a regular season team right now. When it comes to the playoffs, what can they do? They can run the
They
ball.
get
But that's
out
about it.
talented.
Exactly. And it's looking like it's going to be the same thing again. The defense has been playing a little bit better, especially against the Panthers. Well, one thing, it was Baker Mayfield.
About to
So
say,
you can't really do much. But yeah, Lamar Jackson only scoring 3 points. What was it? Up to like third quarter, I believe it was. Can't do that. It's just inexcusable. So Ravens, Lamar Jackson, I'm sorry. You're out of the top 5 right now in terms of QBs after that performance because that was
easily.
atrocious. Yeah, that was atrocious. Let's go to the next game.
Let's talk about your man. Let's talk about actually he's our guy. Let's talk about how the Bears once again sold Justin Fields.
Well, I'll say this because yeah, the defense definitely sold him, but he was able. He did get the ball back, and I think he would have been able to. I believe they. I don't know if he would have either tied it or won the game. I forget, but I forget.
Yeah, he was down 3, and I think he had like a minute or so.
Yeah,
Maybe a little less
he had
than that.
enough time. He had enough time.
Yeah.
The thing is that he injured. I believe it was his
Yeah, his
shoulder
shoulder. Yeah.
on the same. Yeah, and
He dislocated it.
unfortunately, yeah. Well, they actually said it's not dislocation.
Oh.
They correct it. It's not dislocation. He's day to day. Hopefully, he plays next week because I need him on my fantasy team. But yeah, Justin Fields. He's still again. He looked good. There's still a lot of work that needs to be done in terms of his throwing motion, especially when it comes to short passes. Like it seems like every week he's hitting his offensive lineman in the helmet. Like he needs to this offseason he needs to work on his throwing motion when it comes to like short routes because it's getting atrocious. Once he figures that out, then he'll be nearly unstoppable because he already has like a lot of the other tools needed. Yeah, Justin Fields, he played a solid game. The Bears, again, you trade Roquan Smith and you trade the other defensive player who hasn't really been getting any snaps for the Eagles. I forgot his name.
Robert Quinn.
Yeah, Robert Quinn. Even though he didn't really play well for the Chicago Bears this year, anyway, he only has like 1 sack. But yeah, you trade those 2 guys, and your defense is going to suffer. So I'm not really surprised. I think they have the 3rd pick in the draft, which is actually really good. So in the event, they can get more draft capital if they can remain at the 3rd pick sort of range because the QBs, right? Depending on the teams, you might be able to get a Bryce Young in number 3, and number 2 could be like Will Anderson or something. So yeah, the Chicago Bears, they're just limited right now. Justin Fields has to continuously overcome the talent around him. Chase Claypool. I get it. They were trying to give Justin Fields another weapon, but he's been awful.
Yeah.
He hasn't done anything. That second round.
They should have kept that 2nd round pick.
Yeah, for the most part. I said this. Chase Claypool, he's a number 3. He's not a number 2. He's not a guy you can really rely on for the most part. And in Pittsburgh, before he got traded, he had that one really good game. So that like raised his stock. But for the most part, he's been
mediocre.
Down. Yeah, he's been mediocre. So I guess when they get another receiver, maybe in free agency in the draft, he'll possibly thrive more at that 2nd or 3rd wide receiver role. Yeah, it's just they have a bright future. I'll say that. But right now this year it's a wash. On the Falcons side, it's really not much to be said. Marcus Mariota, he frustrates me. He frustrates me because how does Drake London only get 1 reception? And the 1 reception is a touchdown. Please explain. And then Kyle Pitts, he doesn't give Kyle Pitts the ball. They cannot stay with this guy next year. There's no way. When you drafted those two guys in the top 10, this has to be temporary. Has to be. So yeah. Let's see here. Oh, Chiefs and Chargers.
Now,
Go ahead, man. Go ahead.
I'd like to be fair. And the way the media is treating Justin Herbert, like he's a make-a-wish kid, is not fair to all the other QBs that get ridiculed time and time again for not being able to win the big game or throwing picks in the late game. Like, why does this guy get a pass? But players like, let's say, Dak Prescott, Lamar Jackson, they didn't get a pass. Like, it blows my mind. And every time you point out Justin Herbert, you're like, this dude can't win a game. People always come to this. Well, it's because this happened. Why didn't these dudes get this type of caping and backing up for? Why is it only him? This dude is supposed to be. This man was widely regarded as a top 3 QB going into the season, and he has yet to have an impressive win on his resume. I'm not saying QB wins is a stat. I just want the criteria and the blame and the flack to be spread equally. Right now, it's not being spread equally.
I agree with you on that one, and it's because they have a scapegoat, and that's Brandon Staley, right? It reminds me of, you know how the Lakers, right, with LeBron, and LeBron always has that scapegoat so he can avoid criticism. You could say it's kind of similar like that, where media and people that are watching the game, they're like, oh my God, look how talented this guy is. Like, he can make all the throws. He's an unbelievable player. But when it comes to late game, crunch time, people look at, this is not Justin Herbert's fault. He has to overcome the coaching of Brandon Staley. This is Brandon Staley's fault because he's not putting him in the best position to succeed. When you watch that Chiefs game, okay, they had 30 seconds. Okay, they had 2 timeouts. You can't tell me that a really good QB couldn't get them to a field goal? A top 10 QB couldn't get them to a field goal?
Especially against a shaky Chiefs defense.
Come on now. And they're like, well, did you see the last time he was on the field, how he got that touchdown? Okay, that's cool. But now they're on the field again. He has to get the job done, and he couldn't. And so many times I've seen Justin Herbert in this position on prime time too, and he hasn't delivered. Now against the Browns, that was so fluky because the Browns, I believe their kicker missed the field goal to win the game. So in my opinion, that doesn't really count. But there's so many times where he just doesn't get the job done when you need him the most. And people like to neglect that because they look at Brandon Staley. They look like, he was missing one of his top receivers, right? It's always excuses with him. But when it comes, like you said, Lamar Jackson, Dak Prescott, even Aaron Rodgers at times, they're like, yo, you got to get the job done. And these are top 10 quarterbacks. Inexcusable. And remember with Russell Wilson, right? He's been playing awful. He's just been playing off.
Indeed.
Did people remember it was the first game people gave Russell Wilson that excuse. But then after that, what did they say? Yo, Russell Wilson, you need to get the job done in crunch time. What? They don't say, this is Nathaniel Hackett. No, they say Russell Wilson. So, like you said, I want it to be consistent. I want the criticism to be consistent and not a scapegoat for Justin Fields because he makes these spectacular throws.
Justin Herbert.
Yeah, I said Justin Fields. Justin Herbert. It's crazy because if this was Tua, for example. People would get on him.
I forgot about Tua. Yep, they.
Come on now. Like, what are we doing here? So I agree.
Can,
But
can
on the
you
other hand,
imagine? Can you imagine if any of those guys that you just named didn't score, only scored 7 points in the second half, and only in the fourth quarter, and then threw a pick to lose the game? Do you know what the media would have did to them?
Josh Allen,
That,
they
bro,
criticized him
Dak
too.
Prescott had a 14-point lead entering the fourth and lost. And look what the media did to him that entire week up into the Vikings. But Justin Herbert, he gets off scot-free.
Amazing. And people have been criticizing Mike McCarthy, right? But they don't when it comes to Dak Prescott and also Jason Garrett as well. People say that those coaches aren't that good. But then when the time comes, they don't look at the coaches. They look at Dak Prescott. So yeah, I agree. There is definitely something
Every
there.
other time, if this QB is elite, he overcomes all of this stuff and wins the game. But when it's Justin Herbert, Brandon Staley, he's not a good coach and he has all of these injuries, man. Whatever. Nobody else gets this type of treatment, man. That's a bunch of bull.
Yeah, that is a bunch of cool. But let's look at the other side of things, and that's the Chiefs, because they were without the Juju, McCole Hardman, and I forgot.
Tony got hurt.
Oh yeah, and Clyde Edwards-Helaire got hurt during the game, so they were without a bunch of players. And lo and behold, Patrick Mahomes, he was still able to pull a rabbit out of his hat and win the game. And it's clear cut. He's the front runner. It's for the MVP. Like it's his to lose. It's not even close. His It's incredible just what he's doing because you lose Tyreek Hill, you bring in these receivers that are, one is like maybe a low end wide receiver two. Most of them are like wide receiver threes, and he's still able to do what he does best. And I was watching NFL Live, and they made a great point that he never lost his number one option, and that's Travis Kelce. Travis Kelce is his number one option. Tyreek Hill was his number two option. Why? Because that's his safety blanket. That's where he's most comfortable in throwing the football. And that connection between him and Travis Kelce is up there with Tom Brady and Gronk, Phillip Rivers, Antonio Gates, you name it, whatever.
Elway and Shannon Sharp.
These guys are on another level, and the Chiefs, they look like the best team again in the AFC. I'm so impressed with just Patrick Mahomes, just development as a quarterback. How do you feel about Patrick Mahomes in that game?
He did what I thought he was going to do. Didn't I say in the group chat, I said they left him too much time. I knew he was going to walk down there and get a touchdown because that's just what he does. Like this, Pat Mahomes is definitely going to be first ballot when it's all said and done easily. They may induct him as soon as he retires. But yeah, the Chiefs, I said before the season, I was like, why are people writing the Chiefs off? They're a well-coached team. Tyreek Hill is great. He's wide receiver one, pretty much. But Travis Kelce is still there. Andy Reid is still there. Eric Bieniemy is still there. I was confused why they wrote them all. I really was. I was like, the AFC West, they got better, but shoot, they don't look like they got better. Raiders stink. Broncos maybe even worse. Like, oh my goodness. That's still the most disappointing letdown. That whole division just, bruh.
Yeah, I agree with you on that.
People need to learn their lesson.
Chargers are always banged up.
They can't win the big game.
Yeah, and when literally I was on the couch and I saw Justin Herbert with 30 seconds left with 2 timeouts. I'm like, he's gonna.
I wasn't worried at all.
He's gonna screw it up because he does this all the time. And they're like, oh, this, people are like, oh, this is such a lazy agenda that Justin Herbert can't win a big game, late in games. How? I'm watching the games just like you guys. And it seems like every time he makes a mistake. I can't recall one time where Justin Herbert has come up clutch when it matters most. I haven't seen him throw a walk-off touchdown. I can't remember. Maybe he has, but it hasn't been much. He probably done it once, maybe, but I can't remember.
Yeah,
So yeah,
I'm gonna have to go back and watch and see.
exactly. Let's see what other games we got. I know we got Bengals, Steelers. Let's go Bengals, Steelers real quick. Um,
The Steelers, man, ever since they got T.J. Watt, that defense has been
I'll say this:
playing with a whole new life.
Kenny Pickett is slowly improving. I'll say that much because this is why it was a good idea to bench Mitchell Trubisky and go to your first round pick so he can develop, so he can get comfortable in the offense. He's slowly improving. It's not much, but he's improving a little bit, and that's normally how rookie QBs go. You're not gonna see like a Justin Herbert your rookie year from like that's rare. So what I will say is that Najee Harris played better too, and George Pickens he was phenomenal as well. He did drop one pass, I forgot it was, it may have been for a touchdown. So on the Bengals side of things, I was impressed by Joe Burrow. I really was because he was missing Jamar Chase, obviously. Joe Mixon he went out with an injury,
Hmm.
so he had to overcome some things, and he was able to do that. And I believe it was in the first quarter. I think T.J. Watt he caught the interception. Was it the first
Yeah,
quarter? And
it
then I
was
was like,
something
oh,
like that.
oh no, don't tell me it's gonna be like the last
A
time. I think it
repeat.
was
That
yeah,
was
I think
week
it
one,
was
wasn't
week yeah, it was week one. I was like, oh, don't tell me they're gonna do it again. Joe Burrow, he steadily came back and he showed why he's one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. And because for the most part, he's been up and down ever since Jamar Chase has gone down. So it was good that he was able to show that he doesn't need Jamar Chase or Joe Mixon to put up really good numbers. So that's all I really have to say with the Bengals side of things. I'm not a believer in them because of their coach and because for some they're just I don't know. It's just their system. Like their offense is too predictable to be. Um, let's go to the command. I think this might be the last game. Commanders and Texans.
they? They did what I thought they was
Left-handed.
going to do.
Who we the Commanders? Hey man, they keep
The
winning
comments
these
might get on you
games.
for that because that
I
looked like your
know,
right hand on it on
I
the team.
know, I
Yeah.
know, I know. But I'm gonna just lie and say it's my left hand. But the Commanders.
They
They
did what
went.
I thought they was going to do. Beat the brakes off. The Texans are terrible.
Yeah, they are terrible, but they went from 1-5 to 6-5.
That is impressive.
They are.
And they, yeah,
And then remember this: they have the Giants twice on their schedule. They have the Cowboys again. They have the Eagles. They beat the Giants twice because the Giants. They're in the wild card too. They could potentially take the Giants spot.
that is a
And and,
possibility.
and then the Seahawks as well. I like the Seahawks, but
They
there's a
might
chance they could
backslide,
slip.
man.
They could slip too. Right now, the 49ers are in the lead of the division. The 49ers, I think they play them. I don't know if they played them already. They may have played them already. I forget. But you never know. The Commanders, they look really good right now. The Chase Young is coming back. I'm shocked. I really am because I thought that this team was going to have another disappointing year. But Ron Rivera, I guess when you're playing for your job, you got that extra motivation, especially after that Bears game. So it looks like after the Bears, no, actually, it looks like after the Packers game, that's when they really just just started going up from there. And I think for the large parts because of Taylor Heineke. And can't say enough
Yeah.
about the Commanders. How do you feel about the Commanders' just recent stretch of just games where they've just been
Um,
continuously winning?
it's pretty impressive. Especially when you look at the QB like Taylor Heineke. Man, people thought when Taylor Heineke, they thought the season was over, but the season was just beginning. And yeah, their defense is legit, especially that D line. Not Montez, right? Deron Payne and Jonathan Allen, just constant pressure up the middle. And there's this second, ever since they got rid of William Jackson, that secondary has started playing lights out. Who would have thought? But yeah, the off they found their I feel like they found their identity on offense, which is run the ball
Yeah.
and then try to do like play action and stuff like that. And they're playing good football right now. it's definitely a possibility they could step up, make the wild card, and take the Giants spot. It's really dependent on how they play against the Giants and how those games go. But they have a pretty favorable schedule for the rest of the year. I think they play the Texans. They got the Giants twice. I think they play us. They play the Eagles again. No. They already played the Eagles twice. My bad. They play us again. I want to say they played the Colts.
No,
Or
they
did
played. They already
play?
beat.
They
They
played
already
them
beat.
already.
Yeah, they beat the Colts. They beat the Colts.
Who else they played?
I forget. I could check right now. Let's see. So, whoops, wrong team. Let's see. 49ers, Browns. Yeah, Giants twice, Cowboys, Falcons
49ers.
also.
Oh, Falcons. Yeah. So
Yeah,
they could end up they had 6 wins now. They could end up wild card at 9-8.
yeah, because I the Falcons game that's winnable. Browns game that's winnable. I don't care.
Watching the sick
I don't.
sicko will be back, but
I don't care if Sicko is the quarterback. Giants, you can win. They could possibly win one of those games. And then the
they
Cowboys,
could win
49ers, I don't.
two of them games.
Cowboys and 49ers, I don't see. Well, depending on where the Cowboys' position is, because that's the last week
That's the last.
of the
Yeah.
season. So depending on where they are positioned, that it's possible that they'll be resting players. So yeah, I mean, they can win 10 games in my opinion. I think that's a possibility.
Yeah, that's doable.
Yeah, so I
yeah,
like the future.
they've been playing well. The Texans stink, but I mean it's football. You play who on the schedule, so they won in dominant fashion. So they are. I'm glad we don't have to see them until the last game of the season. Because I mean we'd still beat them because we own the Commanders, but I think there'll be a team to watch going forward.
Yeah, I agree. So let's go to
what I said before the season held true. I told him, boy, I'm keeping my eye on them. I knew they was a sneaky team from the jump.
You're right. Even with Carson Wentz as the starting quarterback, you called it for some reason. I don't get it. So let's go to the other game, Raiders and Broncos.
I forgot about that.
Listen, man, I tried to tell you that the Raiders are gonna win, but you convinced me to pick the Broncos because you were like, I'm never picking the Raiders again.
I mean, I had good reason for that.
You were almost right because it did go to OT. So one team had to win. The Broncos are just awful. It's just nothing to be said. Russell Wilson, he's just cooked. Like he's cooked food. He's not that guy anymore. Nathaniel Hackett, he's a horrible coach. He's not doing what is he doing? He's not managing
a check.
He's not managing the clock. He's not calling plays. What are you doing, bro? Like you're just sitting there. You're just a face, pretty much. That's all you're doing. And yeah, the Broncos are just horrendous. The defense, Patrick Surtain.
He gave up 100 yards. Trayvon Diggs could never. Well, not this year. Trayvon Diggs never gave up 100 yards in the game. He hasn't gave up 100 yards in this last year. So,
well, I will say it wasn't man coverage, but at the same time, that is.
Listen, he had third responsibility. There's no way that should have been allowed.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. So it's still his responsibility, even though it's in zone coverage. It's just a lost year for the Broncos, and I believe the Seahawks have their pick, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep, they do.
So
gave all that money to Russell Wilson, and look at the results.
It's bad. And then on the Raiders side, they're just desperate. They need a win as much as possible. I think they have their pick this year, so I don't know why they're trying to win, especially if you're the whole Derek Carr situation. I don't know if I want to have him next year. I want to have a new QB.
They said they could cut him, but
I don't know.
That would kind of defeat the purpose of getting Devontae Adams.
Yeah, and then there was a rumor. I don't know how true it is, but in terms of look out for a trade between the Packers and Raiders. Aaron Rodgers and Derek Carr, they swap places. I'm like, stop it.
I don't even think the money works out for that. So
It's just
You don't
stop
have
it.
two
That's
max
ridiculous.
contract players on it. No.
That's ridiculous. Like, just stop it there. But yeah, the Raiders, nothing really. It's just a toilet bowl, like you said. It's just two bad teams. So let's go to another game.
Dang, that ain't it. How many games is
It's
played?
one. I think it's one more game. It's one more game. It's the Bills and the Browns, and we can talk
I
about this.
forgot
Like,
about that.
we can talk about this real quick because I was skeptical of the Bills in the first half, I believe, because I believe the Browns, they were like really making it a game. Like, it was a really close game. Then I don't know if it was a turnover or what, but all of a sudden the Bills
They blew the game open.
yeah, they just blew the game, and they flipped the switch for some reason, and they were able to just control the game from the second half. Josh Allen, he played a lot better. Stephon Diggs, I believe he got a touchdown as well because he wasn't really doing much in the first half. So I think that's really much it. I mean, there's not much really
They
say how
got the
you feel
run
about the
game
game.
going.
They did get the run game going. Yes, they did. And Amari Cooper, he had a really good game. Jacoby Brissett, he was okay, but ultimately, Browns are just not really a good team. And when Deshaun Watson comes back, I still think they're not going to be a really good team. So another lost season for the Browns. That's all I can really say on that matchup. I think that's it for
It's a lot of bad to mediocre teams out there. Good grief.
yeah, pretty
This is probably the
much.
most open the NFL has been in a long time.
Yeah, and that's why the Cowboys they have to capitalize because you're not going to get another year like this where
And
you
we
have
got a lot of players in the offseason due for money. I think Tony Pollard's up for money, Terrence Steele up for money, Donovan Wilson's up for money. I want to say Dorrance might be up for money. Connor McGovern's up for money. Biotish might be up for money. We got a lot of dudes we need to pay.
you got to
Anthony Brown is
capitalize
up
this
for
year.
money.
Got to capitalize this year because
We got to make a run.
yeah,
At
sure.
least make it to the championship game so these guys could be like, let's run it back. I'll take a little bit less money to run it back. We got to at least make the championship game.
Yeah, for sure. So we're picking the games for what is it, week 12, I believe it
12?
is. Yeah, I think it's week 12. Yeah, week 12. I'm correct. All right, so we have Thanksgiving games. These aren't
It is
bad.
Thanksgiving.
These aren't bad matchups, actually. Bills and Lions. I'm gonna go with the Bills on this one.
Yeah.
But you know what? The Lions are at home, so you never know, bro. You never know. This could be a scary pick. But I'm gonna go with the safe pick though. Giants and Cowboys.
I'm not picking against my squad this week. Give me the Cowboys by 2 scores.
I'm gonna go Cowboys too.
Even though the Cowboys stink on Thanksgiving, but there's no excuse. We've been red hot on offense. The defense has gained its groove back a little bit. The Giants, half their freaking roster is hurt, and there's just no excuse. We need to blow these dudes out, and then Odell will sign with us, and then we're going to Golden Corral.
Okay, Patriots and Vikings.
Just primetime Kirk. I don't know. It's primetime Kirk. You know what? I'm gonna go with the upset. I'm gonna go with the Patriots. I think Bill Belichick is going to do what's necessary to limit Justin Jefferson between Jonathan Jones and Jack Jones. Ain't really gonna be nowhere safe for Justin Jefferson to go. And it's primetime Kirk. I can't bet on that. I can't count on that dude.
I'm gonna go with the Patriots as well. Again, I'm not betting. I'm not putting all my money on Kirk Cousins in prime time, especially on Thanksgiving. So no way,
And on
no
a short
how.
week.
Yeah, not
They
gonna be
all
able
of
to
these have
do it.
short weeks. So.
Not gonna be able to do it. Packers and Eagles. It's really like
This is the one time I need the Packers to do a favor for me. But it's not gonna happen. Eagles win outright.
I'm going Eagles. They're at home. Packers, they're playing bad. There's no other way to slice it. Buccaneers and Browns.
Tom Brady, you already know the deal. Give me the Bucks.
Give me the Buccaneers as well. Unfortunately, they look like they finally found a groove.
And they're
go
coming off a bye
Buccaneers.
week.
Yeah. Bengals and Titans.
Ooh, the playoff rematch. I think the Titans. Give me the Titans. Give me the Titans because the Bengals are they're a little too much up and down for my liking, and the Titans have been consistent pretty much throughout the whole year. And I feel like the Titans are starting to get their passing attack better throughout these weeks. So I'm gonna go with the Titans.
Here's the thing, because matter of fact, let me check Jamar Chase because I think Jamar Chase. There's a possibility he could play. So let me see. Jamar Chase. Jamar Chase. Let's see. Said Monday.
He says he's questionable.
You know what? I'm gonna go with the Bengals this week. I think
Okay.
that Jamar Chase is gonna play, and because of that, I think the Bengals are gonna win this game. So I'm gonna go with the Bengals this game. Let's go to the Texans and the Dolphins.
Dolphins by 30.
Yeah, next game. Let's go
Bears and
Jets.
Jets.
I'm gonna go Jets.
I'm gonna go Jets. I can't. The Bears just can't deliver.
Justin Fields is a better quarterback, but it's a team game.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go Jets on this one.
Unless the team completely rebels against Zach Wilson.
Now, if this was in Chicago, then I might pick the upset because they have home field advantage and
Wait,
Zach Wilson on the road.
I forgot. Did you see what I sent in the group chat about the coin? The coin predicted that the Bears will win this game, and the coin has been undefeated. It's been right for every game this season.
Well,
I'm riding with the coin. Give me the Bears. Give me the Bears at New York. Give me the Bears. I'm siding with the coin.
I'm gonna go with the Jets still because Zach Wilson is playing for his starting job,
He don't care. He don't even like football for real.
They're trying to get in the playoffs. They're desperate. The Bears, they're not really desperate. They're in the running for the number one pick. So I'm gonna go with the Jets on this one. Falcons and Commanders.
Commanders.
I'm gonna go with the Commanders as well. They're gonna be missing Kyle Pitts. That's gonna be a big loss. And the Commanders gonna be at home, so they're gonna be comfortable. They're gonna be rejuvenated.
But it's better gonna be fans in that stadium too.
Broncos and Panthers.
And Chase Young is back too. So, Lord, this is the Toilet Bowl 3.0. Good grief! I hope no one wasted time to watch this game. My goodness, I could think of a million things to do better on a Sunday at 1 p.m. than to watch this garbage. There's no way the Broncos lose this game, right? Baker Mayfield or Russell Wilson?
Panthers. I got Panthers.
Give me the Broncos. I don't know how many times I'm gonna pick these dudes and be let down. If the Broncos lose this game, I'm not picking them for the rest of the year. I don't care if they play the freaking Alabama Crimson. I'm not picking the Broncos if they lose this game anymore.
Panthers for me. Ravens and Jaguars.
Ravens. Trevor Lawrence ain't there yet.
They
haven't been playing that good though.
I'm gonna go with the Ravens. Jaguars. They're just bad. Chargers and Cardinals. Now, I don't think Kyler Murray is gonna play in this game.
No.
So I'm gonna go with the Chargers.
I swear, Joe, if Justin hurt, I'm telling you, if they lose this game, man, some discussions is going to have to be had.
Okay, so Raiders and Seahawks.
Seahawks need to win this game.
Yeah, Seahawks. I got Seahawks on that one.
I wouldn't be surprised if Raiders upset.
Really? Okay, that's interesting, especially in Seattle. I don't see it. Rams and Chiefs.
Chiefs stomp.
Let's go.
Jalen Ramsey is going to get 300 yards put on his head.
Yeah, I have the Chiefs as well. Rams are. They really sold their soul for that Super Bowl. Saints and 49ers.
49ers.
49ers is yeah, I got 49ers. Monday night game. Steelers and Colts.
Uh, listen, I know y'all love football, but like you might as well you be better off tucking it in early or something because this is a bad matchup.
Go Colts.
I want to pick the Colts too, but I'm gonna pick the Steelers.
On the road, Monday night.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think T.J. Watt has a big game.
Okay. All right. Yeah, that'll do it for the picks, I
A
believe
lot
it
of these
is.
games stink. Good grief!
Yeah, it's a lot of bad
The
matchups.
first half of the season had bangers after banger, but this second half,
Yeah, it's pretty bad. Oh, okay. So let's go to the list. Let's go to the top 5 QBs. What do we have? Obviously, Patrick Mahomes is number one. I'm gonna go with Tua at 2, Jalen Hurts at 3, 4. I'll probably go Joe Burrow. 5.
Josh Allen.
He was a little shaky, a little inconsistent. I mean, I'll go with Josh Allen. Why not? Why not go with Josh Allen? So, with that, do you agree? Is that the top 5 QBs?
I'd flip Burrow and Josh Allen.
Really?
I'm not as down on Josh Allen as a lot of people. I just don't think he's in the MVP race like that anymore.
Okay, that's fair. That's
I
fair.
really want to put, I'm gonna give it a couple weeks, but I really want to put my guy in the top 5. But it's all good.
Yeah,
I'm gonna give it a few weeks. I'm gonna give it a few weeks.
Okay, so let's go to top 5 corners.
Now this is where it gets interesting. Now, top 5 cornerbacks. One, we already know the top 2. One is Trayvon Diggs, 2 is Slay. But 3, we have a new addition at 3. Number 3 is now occupied by the player cornerback on the Carolina Panthers, J.C. Horn. Here's the stat. He hasn't allowed more than 31 yards in a game this season. He's been the most under the radar corner this year. Like I haven't heard a peep about J.C. Horn. This dude is playing at an elite level, but he's going to get overlooked because he plays for the sorry Panthers. So J.C. Horn has to be top 3. 4, I'm gonna put Sauce because he still plays great. He played great. I don't recall anybody really getting off against him on the Patriots. So Sauce is still 4. 5. I can't Pastor Tank. He got cooked, but like he didn't get cooked bad enough to get taken off the top 5. So I'm gonna still keep. One performance doesn't define his legacy. I'm gonna put Pat Surtain at 5. So
What about
recap. Wait, go ahead. What was you about to say?
Darius Slay? He against the Commanders didn't play particularly well. And was that the only game he's not looked good in game?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay, so all right, I'll be fair. Number 2 is fine. Number 2 is fine.
Yeah, so the recap list is Trayvon Diggs 1, Darius Slay 2, J.C. Horn 3, 4 is Sauce, and 5 is Pastor 10. Look at the top 5 list. A bunch of guys that came into the league the last 2-3 years. Love to see it.
Except Darius Slay.
Yeah, Darius Slay. He's been playing elite level for a long. He's like 32 or something.
Yeah, he was really good with Detroit, and he's with Philly, and just been hooping. All right, so top 5 receivers. Let's get it. Tyreek Hill is 1.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna still get Justin Jefferson number 2. I get it. He didn't, he had an off week. I'm gonna still give him that number 2 spot. Number 3, Stephon
But let's think about,
Diggs.
does he really, does Justin, okay, listen, okay, hear me out. Think of all the games he played this year and think of the matchups he had. The two elite guys that he played, being Trayvon Diggs and Slay, he didn't really do much. Can we really put you in the top two if you, when you go against elite comp and you're like, you have a down game?
That's a good point.
Devontae Adams, he goes up against elite comp and he still gets his
But see,
with the arguably worst QB.
what about Tyreek Hill though? Against the Jets. Well, he did have a backup QB, so he does have that excuse. But he didn't really go off against Sauce. I'm trying to think of any other. I don't think he's gone up against any other elite cornerbacks that I can think of at the
Didn't they
moment.
play the Patriots?
Oh, you know what? Well, he didn't really. I mean, he had like a crazy amount of receptions. I think he had maybe like 7 or 8 receptions, but he didn't have like 100 yards. He didn't have a touchdown. I guess that's
Did he go
okay.
against Marlon Humphrey and them?
Ooh, that's a good point. That is a good point. He is a top 10 cornerback, so you got a point there. So, all right. I get what you're saying. So, so who would you usurp Justin Jefferson then at number 2?
Stephon Diggs.
Okay, that's fair. So then
I'd
would
put
you put
Jettas at 3 then. And then 4
okay?
is Devontae Adams. And 5,
No, Cooper Cup, he's been injured, so he might
yeah,
might
I
have to.
ain't putting him in. Is it? I don't want to put Jalen Waddle there though. I feel like it's too soon.
I feel like I'm
I wish
looking at
Jamal wasn't hurt. This would be a much easier decision. But
there's a guy that has been playing pretty well these past few weeks.
please don't tell
Scary
me he plays
Terry.
in it. Oh, brother.
Scary Terry. I'm just saying. He could be for
I
considered.
like Terry McLaurin. I think he's the best wide receiver in the NFC East.
What about CD Lamb? No
CD
love
Lamb
for
is
CD.
making he's come on, that's my dog. Well, I
Oh,
like CD,
DeAndre
but he still
Hopkins.
has D Hop is always open.
But
Is it?
he hasn't played that much. That's the one thing. He hasn't played
Wait,
that
what,
much.
2 games? But the 3 games he played.
Well,
Actually,
he
no, he
came
came
back
back
week
week
6.
7. Week
Yeah, week
7,
7.
right?
Week 7. Yeah.
So we in week 11. So we had like 4 games, 3, 4 games, and I think he played well in all of them.
I gotta check the stats again because I forget.
I know he had at least like 80 last night or 70 something last night.
Let's see. D Hop. What's D Hop stats? He's been pretty good. He's had that one bad game in Seattle, but besides that, he's either had 100 yards or like near 100 yards. He has 2 touchdowns. I don't know. Maybe he's not top 5 yet. Maybe he's almost there. He's creeping there. But this is tough.
You know what? I'm about to do something, Bo. I don't care. I don't care what the position says. They're going to Travis Kelce top 5. I'm putting him at Travis. I'm putting
This is
Travis
wide
Kelce.
receivers, though. This is wide receivers. Come on now. These are wide receivers. Let's not. Come on.
Man, ain't no comp at tight end though.
I would say let's go. This is tough, bro. Because after 4, it's not really a receiver that really stands out. I'm gonna go with Scary Terry. I don't care. He's been very well. No, actually, he didn't really have a great game. Now that I'm looking at it, top 5 receiver. This is so tough. I don't want to put Amari Cooper, even though Amari Cooper had a really good game.
Heck
I don't want to
no.
put him in the top 5.
Let's see what the Let's look at the stats.
Yeah, we gotta look at the stats because this is
Okay,
tough.
Tyreek Hill is first in yards. Jettas is second. Diggs is third. Waddle is 5. Devontae Adams is 4th. Kelsey is 6th.
I think we have
Cup
to put
is
Jalen
7.
Waddle in there. I think we have to.
800 yards. His
6 touchdowns.
average catch is 17 yards.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Dang.
We have
might
to put Jalen
Waddle.
Waddle in there.
Yeah, I think we got to.
Yeah, he has 6 touchdowns too. I think he's like
Yeah, let's put Waddle. Yeah, we got to. Just based off the
top
numbers.
5 in receiving yards also.
No,
51
CD's not top
receptions.
10 anymore. Oh, wait, no, yes, he is because Kelsey ain't the tight end. I mean, Kelsey ain't the wide receiver. Okay, who? I thought the agenda was cooked.
Chris Olave is above CD in receiving yards.
By 9 yards. Mickey Mouse placement.
But he has Andy Dalton throwing him the football, so that's more impressive. So yeah, the wide receiver list, top 5 wide receiver list is Tyreek Hill, Stephon Diggs, Justin Jefferson, Devontae Adams, and Jalen Waddle. 2 Dolphins receivers. That's the list right now. Let's go to top 5. Let's see. I don't know. I don't know if we want to do running backs because for the most part, it hasn't really not much action when it comes to running backs.
Tony Pollard is top 5. That's all I'm gonna say.
Okay. All right. Top 5 running backs.
No, I don't want to rank him. I just want it to be known that Tony Pollard is now top 5. I don't care what people say. There's no way you see what this man has done the past 3-4 weeks and want to sit up here and say he ain't. Man, watch out, man. That man has been man. Come on, son.
Yeah,
he's been elite.
I'll let you have that.
What other running backs been playing better than him?
Okay, I'll give you that. He's been playing really good these past 3-4 weeks. I agree with you on that one. I can't dispute. If you want to say he's top 5, go ahead. You know. But last thing on the list.
Did we do QBs? Oh, we did QBs already.
Yeah, we did QBs. Last thing on the list, let's go MVP rankings. Patrick Mahomes still number 1.
Yeah, Pat Mahomes.
Then I go Tua number 2, number 3. This is interesting because
we need to have a discussion real quick about
what?
MVP.
I'm gonna go with Micah Parsons at number 3. I'm gonna go with you know why? Because that game against the Vikings, he was phenomenal. And the only reason he didn't do anything against the Packers because he wasn't at his natural role, and that is sacking the quarterback. You put him at his natural role, and he's going to do damage. And that's what he did against the Vikings. And Dan Quinn finally realized that. Don't put him out in coverage. That's insane.
And if you do line him up at Mike linebacker, at least let him still rush the passer.
Yep. So yeah, Micah Parsons is 3. Number 4, it would be number 4. I guess I'll go Jalen Hurts. I still go Jalen Hurts at 4. And 5. 5. What would be 5? I don't want to say Josh Allen, but I can't really think of anybody else that deserves to be in 5. So I'll probably go Josh Allen. Just because there's not really anybody else I can think of that deserves consideration. Because Saquon, I had him in last week, but I don't think he deserves to be in it this week, especially after they lost. So I'm going to go with Josh Allen at number 5. I think he was number 5 last week, so I'm going to stick with that. Okay, so I think that's it for all of the topics. Is there anything else that we need to discuss, NBA, NFL-wise?
I do want to discuss something that I brought up in a group chat about
the
MVP award. I think they should separate the MVP award and just make like a QB award, because MVP is every year. It's always QB. And like, I understand that they're the point guard of the offense, but like, sometimes you can't really convince me that QBs is more valuable than some of these other guys. Like Jimmy Garoppolo ain't more valuable than Debo Samuels or Nick Bosa, those guys. And I don't think, honestly, I don't think Tua's good. He's been playing great, but is he really more valuable than Micah Parsons? Like if you take Tua and replace him with the league average guy, is he making the same? Would he make? Would the drop off be that drastic versus Micah being replaced by a league average guy? You know what I'm saying?
Well, here's the question: with the
I
Dallas
think Tua
Cowboys,
raises Tua raises the floor from here to here, but Micah raises the floor from here to here. You get what I'm saying?
would the Dallas Cowboys still win games without Micah Parsons?
Yes,
But
but
let's say the Dolphins. Okay, let's say okay,
let's
Tua
actually
is
let me put it like this right quick. Let me put it like this. Micah takes the defense from top 10 to top 3.
okay.
And Tua takes the Dolphins from top, let's say around top. Actually,
Well, they weren't a when
yeah,
Tua was out,
that's
their
what I'm
offense
thinking.
was kind of bad. It was really bad. Like the Jets were scoring on them, they couldn't respond.
Man, I don't know, man. It's hard.
QBs they're always going to be the most valuable asset on a team, no matter the pass rusher. Now, if you compare the level of production to a pass rusher and a quarterback, obviously Micah Parsons is better than Tua. But the fact that the Dolphins haven't lost, I get it. QB wins, they're not stat. At the end of the day, the facts are the facts. And the offense has been thriving under Tua, like one of the best offenses in the league, probably top 2 behind the Chiefs. And they haven't lost a game when Tua has started and ended. So, and he beat the Bills with the concussion, which is crazy to me. He owns the Patriots. Like he rarely loses to the Patriots, which is insane because
The
the
Dolphins
Dolphins
been beating the Patriots for a minute.
exactly. So Michael Parsons is definitely very valuable for that
So
defense.
so so if you replace Tua with say Jimmy Garoppolo, would that offense be top 10?
That's a great question. I
Versus
would
would you if you replace the Micah with like a Jamin Davis or something like that? You know what I'm saying? Like
hold on. Wait a minute. Because Jimmy Garoppolo, I would say he's the middle. I would say in terms of his QB ranking, because we have to look at where his QB ranking is, right, compared to let's say one of the pass rushers that you named. I say Jimmy Garoppolo, he's maybe 16 or 17 best. I would say he's around that range.
yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
And you compare that to let's say a pass rusher that replaces Michael Parsons, like a
Preston Smith, I don't know.
Montez Sweat.
Montez Sweat, yeah.
Montez
Okay.
Sweat, somebody like that, right? I say the Cowboys defense, because Dan Quinn is the coordinator, I think they'd still be maybe top 10. They wouldn't be elite, I would say, but they would still be serviceable because for the most part, the Dallas defense for the past 5, 6 years has been pretty solid. Especially, it had because remember when y'all had Rob Marinelli, it wasn't that bad. Especially when you guys lacked the talent, you guys were still a respectable defense. Now, was it
We had
elite?
like
No.
no pass rush.
Yeah, but you guys were still like middle of the pack. You you were a bend, don't break defense. Now you guys are an elite defense, right? Because Trayvon Diggs and Micah Parsons. I think you guys will still be top 10 because Dan Quinn, for some reason, he just has that magic. I don't know what it is, but it's just something about it where he's able to get the best out of his players. So I'd probably still say that the Dallas defense would be top 10, maybe top 12. Now, at the other end, with the Dolphins, if you put Jimmy Garoppolo in that offense, they probably would be top 10 for the simple
Okay.
fact that the running game is really good. Would I don't know if Waddle would still be putting up the same numbers. I think Tyreek Hill, he would still put up similar numbers. Jalen Waddle, on the other hand, I don't think he would put up similar numbers because I think that Tua's connection with Jalen Waddle since they played together in college, it just seems like they just have it together. So
So who do you think is more pivotal to the success of the Dolphins? Tyreek Hill or Tua? Or is it Mike McDaniels?
oh man, this is well, I think the coach is definitely the most important because Mike McDaniels, he has just changed the life for the Dolphins offense overall. And I don't know if, let's say, Brian Flores was still the coach. I don't think that this offense would be as explosive
Brian
and
Flores
as
ain't care about no
dynamic.
offense.
Exactly. He would hire these just terrible offensive coordinators. So I don't think the offense would be as good and as just creative as Mike McDaniels, that West Coast offense. Now the question should be who's more pivotal for the Dolphins offense, Tyreek Hill or Tua? I think it's Tua. I think that what Tua needed was an offensive minded coach that can get the best out of him. Not to say that Tyreek Hill, obviously, having Tyreek Hill is going to exponentially improve your play, but Tua still has talented players. Jalen Waddle was talented. Mike Gesicki is talented. Raheem Mostert is talented. And they brought in Jeff Wilson. He's talented. So I think that he would have still been able to thrive, especially with that Mike McDaniels offense. I would say Tua is probably more important now. In terms of Mike Parsons and Tua, who is more valuable?
I think Micah is. Because I think Micah's generational. I don't think Tua is generational.
I would say Michael Parsons. I would say Michael Parsons is more valuable for the simple fact that, like you said, he takes them to another level, right? He takes them to that elite status. Like they're like top two defensively. And we haven't seen that with the Cowboys in how long? Since the 90s. So
Even when we had DeMarcus Ware, we wasn't where we at with Micah.
but I do it's really hard to say because again, QBs are so valuable that you can't really they do so much. So I don't know. I'm biased. I'm still gonna go with 2 and 2. I'm sorry.
No, I wasn't. See, I wasn't really trying to prove a point. It was more so just like a just to put the conversation out there, just to get your thoughts. It wasn't really a right or wrong answer. I just wanted to get your perspective on how MVP is, biased towards QBs, and if some of this stuff that they push is really what it is versus just, we just value QBs more than any other position. So, but the MVP is always just going to be a QB. So that's pretty much.
I agree. It reminds me, remember when JJ Watt was in his prime? It was like 1 year where he was going off. I think he had like 16 sacks. He played tight end too. He was catching touchdowns at the tight end, but he still wasn't able to get the award. I forgot who got the award that year. But it's guys like that where you look at them and they're just so dominant. And he even caught passes, caught touchdowns as a tight end, but he's still not even close to in the discussion. So yeah, I agree with you on that. I think that'll do it. Thank you guys for watching this video. Make sure to like, subscribe, comment down below, hit the notification bell, follow the socials, especially Instagram. We post content on Instagram as well. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys on the next episode. Peace.
All I put my life in these sentences. Fucking right, it's either that or life sentences. I'm relatives with Benjamin. I used to give a fuck about my luck when I was innocent. Now what the fuck is up? I'm at your neck like a penalty, nigga. I need that. Bitch, I need that. 24 acres in the mule.